Hello, everyone, and I'm Jason Height, and today I'm going to be talking with owner and head CPA of Crossroads Tax Advisors, Chris Cuadros. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I know it seems like a little bit of a strange conversation to be having with your boss, and as we talk about the optimal team, with the who a doctor should have, as part of their trusted advisors. This might seem a little bit biased, but we're gonna really try to take an unbiased look at why it's important to have a healthcare or dental specific CPA. So, Chris, tell us a little bit about Crossroads, if you'd like, and tell us a little bit about what you do as a CPA.
Thanks. So Crossroads was founded years and years ago, just based on the concept that dentists are good folks. Most of them are, work hard and just need some help having, I guess, providing structure around the accounting processes in order for tax planning and financial planning to improve instead of dumping off a shoebox full of receipts at your CPA in February, March for that April deadline. There was a better way, and so what we did is just tried to leverage technology in order to make that easier for the dental practice owners. To get us the information so that we can stay on top of books, so that we can be proactive on the tax planning. And so that's kind of at least just the premise of how Crossroads was started, and then kind of just the philosophy of what we try to achieve and improve on every year moving forward.
All right, sounds great. Sounds great. So, if somebody's going to go out and find a CPA that is, specific to the healthcare industry or to dental and the dentistry or the dental industry. What are some things that they should be looking for? What sets one firm apart from another? How do they know they found the right one? Because, obviously there are a lot of them out there, and Crossroads is one. But once again, we're going to try to stay unbiased in our answers here. But what is going to set, the different firms apart from each other?
Yes, and I think that's a great question. So the basically the simple question would be, what does this fee get me? Because there's a lot of just tax preparers out there, and if that's what you're looking for, great. We incorporate the bookkeeping so that we can be more proactive on the tax planning. But if you feel like you have a good grasp on the bookkeeping and no problems, we may not be the best solution for you. And so that's kind of one differentiator is, does the CPA firm include the bookkeeping, tax planning, run estimates? Does it include all of their tech stack in order to work with us or that firm? And or is there going to be any ancillary fees? Just things like that is really what I think uncovers the difference. And then also, anytime we have a client that is getting ready to potentially make a change, how do I get in? How do I get out? And then what are the pros and cons of that decision? And so, just to try to weigh those as you interview other firms, I think is one of the key factors.
Okay, that sounds great. What about communication? Some people, like you said, are do-it-yourselfers, and this Crossroads might not be the best solution, but some people like that idea of constantly being able to communicate with their CPA. What do we think? Tell me a little bit about communication and how that sets different firms apart from each other.
Yes, that's a great point. So we've heard a lot of frustration out there in the dental community that I call my CPA and then I get a bill for a 15, 30-minute phone call. And so that's kind of, back to one of those that what do I get with the fees that you charge? And so is it going to be an hourly fee for just phone calls? Do I get meetings throughout the year? How frequently am I going to hear from you, and so forth? So, for example, we send out an email every month by the 21st of every month. So we close our books on the 20th, push out everything to our secured portal by the 21st. And on top of just those regular monthly emails, we're available throughout the year for communication, because I feel like that's really when tax planning and things occur when you need a CPA. It's not on April 15th. It's all the throughout the year that will impact that bottom line or that end result on April 15th. So that's kind of included in our fee, is that we expect our clients to call, and we hope that they do, because we just don't want that to be something that prohibits them from calling, is fear of a bill coming down the road. So
Yeah.
that's, like I said, just kind of what does it include in that fee.
Okay. Sounds great. So we're fresh off tax season, and I know that it's been a hectic one, and it is for every single CPA out there. What are some of the hot topics, right now, as it pertains to healthcare, dentistry, and accounting, bookkeeping, tax laws, things like that?
Yes, great question too. So a lot of folks may have heard about the ERC and still getting emails and marketing materials on that, as well as the R&D credits. And so I would say those are on the forefront. I think that the ERC is one of those abused items now, and abused credits. And so, yes, is there an opportunity? Absolutely. But I feel like anybody that is marketing heavily right now is on the very aggressive side, and the IRS has noted this, and they are allocating more resources to auditing this, and they've also extended the audit period for anything related to the ERC.
Mhm.
So same with the R&D credits. So that's kind of on the forefront, I feel like, in the industry, just because it's marketed heavily to the dental community. But I would also say that the PTE, or the pass-through entity tax opportunities from state to state, is legitimate. But it has to be a material amount. So anybody that has, let's say, an S corporation with $5,000 of profit, or 20,000, may not be worth it. But somebody that has, 100, 200,000 plus of profits, yes, absolutely, something to explore. And just for those folks that have not heard of the pass-through entity, so back in 2018, they passed the Tax Jobs Act, and that limited what your state income taxes paid was going to be allowed deducted on your personal return. And so now, to combat that, the states have created this pass-through entity tax, or flow-through entity tax, so same terminology,
Yep.
that will allow you to write off, or excuse me, pay through the practice a percentage of the profits of the practice, and then that's going to essentially be deemed extra withholdings to the states on your personal income taxes. So let's just say that there's $100,000 of profits. There's a 5% state PTE. Well, then great. Now you get $5,000 towards your taxes paid whenever you go to file your personal return. So just be careful. Every state is a little different on their rules. How can you opt in? What are the estimate requirements? So it's not just a kind of a check the box, but there is a little bit of planning, a little bit of some planning to do for 23. And I know Indiana and a couple other states also are making it retroactive to 22. Colorado's making it retroactive to 2018 later on in the year. So there's a lot of opportunities there, but it's not for everybody, and it has to be through the profits. So, but then also, let me just back up. So the pass-through entities are going to include S corporations and partnerships. So if you are a single member LLC, you're considered a disregarded entity. You're not a pass-through or flow-through. Same with C corporations, not eligible. So S corporations and partnerships, definitely, though.
A lot of great information there. As a non-tax guy, I'm on the business development end. If I were a dentist or a doc, I would definitely see the advantage of having somebody who's an expert, knowing exactly what does my state do, and and what does all this mean? And, specifically to me. So that's one of those big advantages probably of hiring somebody that's experienced within the healthcare dental industry, to be able to differentiate what's going on and be able to follow the laws. And, that from state to state, it can be very different, as you said. So,
Right.
couple more questions for you. Uh,
Yeah.
how does the CPA integrate with the other members of the team? We've talked to lawyers and wealth managers and lenders and consultants. How does the CPA, or how should someone expect their CPA to integrate with those other trusted advisors as part of that optimal team?
Yeah, and so let me back up real quick though.
Yeah,
So
okay.
for on the dental specifics thing, to have somebody that understands the laws, and the IRS code is 90,000 pages, I think it is now, something just ridiculous. But to be able to really I guess only communicate or try to decipher what's really important to the dental community, and that's having a lot of dental clients and just not having to reinvent the wheel. So we don't have to evaluate it for a grocery store or
Mhm.
some kind of a manufacturer, and then we've got a couple dentists. I mean, this dental business model is what we study and what we just gear all of our day towards. And
Yes.
so to understand the difference between a pair of loops and a CIRAC, and when you're trying to make these decisions, you don't have to reinvent the wheel when you're having conversations with your trusted advisors.
Mhm.
And so, just to already have that out of the way, I just feel like our conversations and discussions are more meaningful in that regards. Now, kind of tie that into the other team. It's the same concept. So we can kind of cut through all the noise and really what's important for you as a dentist and practice owner, and try to maximize our time with you on the phone or virtual meetings, whatever. And so that's why it's important. And the collaboration behind the scenes is why, if folks are on the same page, understand your struggles, then we're going to be able to collaborate behind the scenes while you are chairside making money. And so then we really just put together a recommendation or a plan, and then just present it to you as the client. And again, I feel like it's a win-win at the end of the day.
Yep. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. So, all right, last question here. One I've asked to all the other six. What's one thing from our conversation today, or just one thing that you would recommend anybody that listens to this? What's one thing they can implement today, or what's one thing they should do today as it pertains to their CPA relationship?
Yeah, no, another good one. But it's kind of I would say just stay on top of books. I think that's the most important, because nobody's going to be able to do their job without a clear picture of your financials and your cash flow. And I always equate this to clients as the X-ray of a tooth. You can't go, because you can't help diagnose any type of patient issues unless you have a clear X-ray and know what's
Right.
going on. So the financials in the books are really, our X-ray of your practice and kind of the health there. And so, if you do not have a proactive bookkeeper or accountant to stay on top of that, that's definitely something to explore. We see books that are, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months in arrears. That doesn't do you any good, right? To be proactive. And
Yes.
so, that I would say that's the number one key is stay on top of that.
Okay. That sounds great. Well, Chris, I appreciate your time today. And hopefully this has been a helpful, informative, 15 minutes or so. And, if anybody has any further questions and want to get in touch with us, obviously you can reach out to me at jason@crossroadstax.com, and happy to connect you with Chris or anybody else on our team. But thank you very much for listening, and wish everybody a good day.
Thank you.